What's up, JEFusion fans? This is Philip and welcome back to another video. So we're doing another game review, but this time, let's take a look at Kamen Rider Climax Scramble Geo. So I got this game about a week ago, as of this recording. So I bought it off Amazon, but actually it's been years since this game came out. Like almost 5 years. So you probably couldn't see it, but it says here it's 2018. Um, this came out when Kamen Rider Go also came out. So yeah, almost 5 years to this day. So this one I got for the Nintendo Switch, but I believe this is also available for the PS4. But I do believe that for the Nintendo Switch, this was the very first Kamen Rider game that came out. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is how I remember it to be. So yeah, let's take a look at this game. So again, I bought it as a hard copy, but taking a look inside of the box, so you can see that there's this part right here. And when I looked at the page on Amazon where I bought it from, so I saw that there was a Gamba Rising card that should have been included here, so featuring Gates and Geo, or Geo and Gates. But when I opened it, there was no card. But to be fair, as of this point, so the Gamba Rising game has already been deactivated for months already and has been replaced by Kamen Rider Gamba Legends. So even though, like, you could say, like, we could have gotten the card as a collectible, it's not gonna be of any use anyway, so I guess there's that. But I got it for the copy. So yeah, so I got this one for the Nintendo Switch because I play on the Nintendo Switch Lite. I also have another game called Kamen Rider Memory of Heroes. So I reviewed this almost 2 years ago. So if you want to see that review, link is going to be down in the description. So I have this game on hand as well because I'm going to compare these two games later on. But this is our main focus today. Okay, Kamen Rider Climax Scramble Geo. So this is basically a fighting game, you could say, for all intents and purposes. Now, the fighting is actually very simple. So I have here my Switch, and you know what? I'm gonna show you guys a bit of gameplay here. So you can see here, Kamen Rider Climax Scramble Go. So I'm actually in the middle of some sort of battle. So you can, so I got this, of course, the if you see the packaging, it is in Japanese, but because I set my Switch's language to English, it also set its language to English by default. So if you're buying this game or downloading this game, rest assured, if your device is set to English, at least you'll be able to understand without any problem. So let's take a look at this battle. So you can see here I'm controlling Geo, and my partner is Gates here, and we are fighting against the Kamen Rider uh, Axel. Right? Anyways, so enough wasting time on the game, and let's get back to the actual review. So you can see there, I had, you know, let's talk about the controls. So the controls are very simple. So I'm going to talk about this, by the way, using the Switch version. So the Y button is for light attacks, and the X button is for strong attacks. So you can chain like your light attacks, but your heavy attacks are like very slow, and they're designed to be like there to hit. But sometimes there are heavy attacks that hit multiple times anyway. So again, like it is possible to chain these two together. So the A is your lock on button. So you do have auto lock on here, so you don't have to worry about looking for targets, but basically, like, this is your switch target if there are multiple enemies in the arena, and B is your jump button. So you basically move around with either the stick or the directional pad. So you can also change attacks based on the direction. So basically, by pushing like up or forward or down or back, depending on how you want to see it that way. But again, because you're using it to move your rider, so like pressing up moves it forward, pressing down moves it backward, and then like pressing forward or backward in combination with your light attacks or heavy attacks, so you get different results as well. And these shoulder buttons like are, I believe, like are for the guard and like dash evade. So I don't remember which one is which because I don't usually do that. I just run around on the field normally, evading attacks, and then countering when I sneak up on them. That's just my play style. So yeah, very very simple to learn. So uh, as you can see, so the combat happens in a sort of like closed arena, and like you're in the thick of the battle at the beginning of the game anyway, or like when the match starts, so you're sent straight to battle. So uh you might also see in the stage that there are some items that you can pick up. So, for example, you have your damage boosters, defense boosters, HP recovery items, uh, an item that increases your scramble meter, which is basically your super attack bar. So when it fills up, like you just press both these shoulder buttons right here to activate your scramble boost, so which is your super mode basically, and activating them again unleashes your scramble attack or your finishing attack when you're in super mode. So very very simple, and you get like coins on the battlefield, which grant you rider points. Now I believe this is for the story mode, so let's move on to that, by the way. So story mode, so you play as Geo and Gates as they find out like mysterious portals opening up in the sky, and from those portals come out other riders that they have to actually defeat in order to progress through the story. And by defeating common riders at certain points of the story, you get to unlock those riders and be able to use them in battle. So there are nine chapters, or 9 stages in total, but yeah, let's say chapters. So at the at the completion of 9 chapters, or at least like when you complete like every stage in each chapter, so you're able to replay it anytime using different common writers. However, when you clear them for the first time, you're stuck with Geo and Gates. So because they are your story characters, and you have to clear them using Geo and Gates. Geo especially. So yeah. But going back to the writer points first. So writer points are like your experience points. So there are 4 stats that there are 4 stats that you can upgrade using your writer points. So you have your HP, you have your attack, you have your defense, and you have your rider scramble, which is again your super bar. So you basically clear the stage and get rider points, or if you collect the coins during when they appear in the stage, so you get extra rider points. And again, the more rider points you get, the faster you can level up your common riders. So speaking of common riders, you can see here there are so many characters to choose from, basically from the Heisei era. So of course you can see here, obviously Geo and Gates are your default riders, and of course like Heisei era common riders. But the ones that you can play during the ones that you can get in this game, so you have the phase 1 common riders, from Kuga to Decade. However, for the Phase 2 Heisei era Kamen Riders, so from Double to GO, so you also get the secondary riders from Axel to Gates. Well, Gates is already available at the start. So there are no secondary riders for the Phase 1 Heisei era, by the way. So yeah. And there are 3 special characters. One of them is Kamen Rider Was, who is actually like available as an auto DLC. So you get to start the game with 3 riders actually. And interesting tidbit is that Was is the only tertiary rider that appears in this game. So there are 2 other special characters. One is a Kamen Rider. One looks like a Kamen Rider, but technically isn't. So which characters am I talking about? Well, I'm not gonna spoil it for you guys, so you can either download this game or like buy a physical copy like I did. So the reason why I bought a physical copy, by the way, is that when I checked this out on the Nintendo eShop, it was actually more expensive over there. So it was more than 8,000 yen if I remember correctly. But when I saw this on Amazon, it was about 5,600 yen. So it's significantly much cheaper. Although, yeah, I still spent more than 5,000 yen for a game. But again, comparing that to the eShop version, yeah, this is much cheaper than, you know, just downloading the game. So for the combat, again, it's very simple, straightforward, and easy to learn. Now, if you're playing through the story, so this is where most of the problems actually that I'm going to talk about arise. So if you're playing through the story mode, so the characters are only stills and text. There's no animation, there's no voice acting. The only voice acting that you get is when you are actually in the thick of the battle, like you probably have heard during my demo play. So that's the only time that you get some voice acting from actually like some of the actors, but probably their voices are used like some kind of like pre-recorded, like taken from the show. I do believe like Gates and Go's actors like So Okuno and Gaku Oshida, so they play their respective roles in the game as well with the proper voice acting, I believe. But the other common writers, I'm not sure, but probably reused voice clips from the games. Not really the game, sorry, like from this series. But anyways, yeah, the only reason that I wanted to buy this is that you have a bunch of writers to choose from and play as. So going back to my other game, so Kamen Rider Memory Heroes. So you can see that there are 3 writers on the cover. So double O's and 01. So with that said, so I'm gonna mention some of the aspects of the characters in the game. So let's say Double, for example. So he is actually treated as 3 characters separately. So what do we mean? So this character is Shotaro and Philip combined. So you do have another version which is only Kamen Rider Joker. So that's only Shotaro. And you also have Kamen Rider Fang Joker, which is just Philip. So by the way, this is the only form, or this is the only double form that can change into other forms, including the extreme. But if you're playing as like Kamen Rider Joker or Kamen Rider Fang Joker, so yeah, you don't get to use other forms. So you also have you can also play as Kamen Rider Axel. So for Kamen Rider O's, so well, you play as Kamen Rider O's, and you have both versions of Birth and Proto Birth respectively, so they're available. And 01 is just 01, there's no Vulcan involved. Ankh also appears in the story, but you cannot play as him. Why? I'm not sure. He could have been a playable character, I don't care, but you're stuck basically with 8 characters in total. Yeah. With such a limited number, I began to long for other Kamen Riders to play as, so that's why I got this one. But since I am stuck with my Nintendo Switch, I'm stuck with single player. Although I believe you can play ad hoc wirelessly with these, but if you do have like a regular Nintendo Switch that you can connect to the TV, or like you can separate into 2 controllers, then you can play up to 4. You can play with up to 4 people at the same time. So, for example, like you can have like tag team matches with your friends, or like have a free for all 4-way. So like all 4 players beat each other up. So I think that's one of I think that's one of the problems. So with me, having only a Switch Lite, but because this was cheaper, so you know. But yeah, so that's the only reason why I'm probably unable to play the game at full potential. So because I'm stuck with single player, and I do think Kamen Rider Climax Scramble Go shines in the multiplayer aspect, because again, you can play with up to 4 players at once, right? So like I've said earlier, so I think that's uh probably what's holding me back from giving it a higher score. So with that said, in general, Kamen Rider uh, Climax Scramble Go. So in terms of like the story mode, so there's not really much in the way of a story. So again, you have Go and Gates like investigating like portals opening up in the sky and fighting other Kamen Riders that come out of it, and the final boss is Kamen Rider Core. So there's no original boss. Like they just reused a boss from the movies, and they just call it a day. But the replay value comes from the fact that you can play with other Kamen Riders in the story mode. So you gather rider points and then level them up. Now, as for the main story, like you can finish this in less than 10 hours. I finished mine in about 8 hours. But that's excluding the times that I wanted to replay some of the stages in order to get some more rider points, so that Go could get stronger by the time I got to the final boss. So, again, with that said, if you want to max out your common riders, then you're definitely going to spend a lot more on the story mode. So, yeah. Uh, but again, like a major issue again with the story mode is that your cutscenes are very boring with just stills and text. So it's not much to look at. So compared to like Memory of Heroes, where the cutscenes are animated and voice acted, so and you do have a much more complex storyline for Memory of Heroes. So yeah, it's more of a story based game, sure, which is why it's better in that regard. But like uh, like Climax Scramble Go is there for, like, it's charming for me for a reason. So basically, this is your fighting game. This is more of a beat 'em up game, in my opinion. But yeah, so overall, I'm going to give Kamen Rider Climax Scramble Go a 3.5 out of 5. So it's not the best Kamen Rider game out there, but it is fun. Again, the reason why I'm still playing this is that because there are so many Kamen Riders to choose from and play as. So yeah, I really do like that aspect. And with a total of 33 characters, right? So there are so many writers to play as, like even without the Showa era, like you already have a lot of choices, even like excluding the secondary writers from the Heisei era Phase 1 Kamen Rider shows. So you still have a ton of characters to play as. And I guess that's what got me, or that's what sold the game to me, because of the amount or the number of Kamen Riders in the story. And yeah, it's much more action based. Like, you focus a lot more on the action compared to Memory of Heroes. Like, you do run around a lot more often than you're fighting enemies. So yeah, in that regard, I guess Climax Scramble Geo is a bit more entertaining. So you probably are going to be asking me, like, what about the Shin Kamen Rider game? So, like, why haven't I played it or bought it? So my reasons are very simple. I don't like the character designs that they did for the Shin Kamen Rider game. Like, I don't like super deformed characters. Like, it doesn't fit the story. Like, the Shin Kamen Rider, movie is very serious. I haven't watched it, but I already know it's a very serious film, and it's quite dark and gritty, if you ask me, to be completely honest. So, like, a dark and gritty story shown in a super deformed way, so it doesn't really add up to me. Like, it's not really what I would want. And the gameplay is much more of a beat 'em up as well, in a 2D style. So yeah, that's not really attractive in my opinion. Like, at least for me. So if you're a fan of Shin Kamen Rider and you're okay with that kind of style, then you do you. Enjoy. But yeah, it's not something that I personally would play at all. So yeah. But anyways, with that said, that's my review of Kamen Rider Climax Scramble Geo. So do any of you guys have this game? So have you played it, and was it any good in your opinion? So let me know down in the comments. So again, if you want to see my review of Memory of Heroes that I made almost 2 years ago, link is down in the description as well. So anyways, thank you so much for watching, and as always, please do leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, and don't forget that notification bell so you get the latest from JEFusion. This has been Philip, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Time for me to get back into the game.